Well, good Thursday morning. It is a cooler start to the day. Kind of that fall-like feel across the Midwest, which has been a nice break from that nasty heat that we had to start the week. And some may say, again, it feels like fall, but with that, school is literally right around the corner, and that means students will be heading back to Kearney, to the University of Nebraska, Kearney, and there will be a change there, as there's going to be a new head honcho, if you will, as Dr. Neal Schnoor was named the new Chancellor of UNK. It's been pretty much a month since he has been in that position. And the Nebraska native is now joining us here in the KRVN studios. And first off, congratulations and welcome back to Nebraska.
Well, thank you very much. It is really a thrill to be here. And of course, we're appreciative of our relationship with KRVN and all of your coverage. And impressed to learn this morning of your statewide expansion now. And so very, very proud of that for all of you.
You grew up in Northeast Nebraska. You had some time at UNK as a faculty member and an administrator as well before, and now taking over as the chancellor. How did this whole process come together? I know you were in South Dakota before, but
Sure.
wanting to come back to Kearney, why'd you decide to do that?
Absolutely. I grew up in Pierce, Nebraska, up in the Northeast. I'm glad your coverage reaches up there now. And then my first teaching job was at Kearney High School as a band director. Went back to school to get my degrees in Lincoln and had the opportunity to come back and be a band director and a faculty member in education at UNK. Went back to my alma mater in Wayne, got to come back to UNK again to be Doug Christensen's senior advisor. And then I spent 2 years at Cal State Long Beach, 4 years as president at Northern State, and this opportunity came up, and to come home, to be back home is really great.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we always hear is people say, come home, coming back home. And you've made a lot of different stops, as you mentioned, across the U.S., and what about Kearney just makes everything so different?
Well, yeah, it really is. I mean, UNK is near and dear to my heart and the community of Kearney. So when you put that together and the region surrounding us and the resources we have, honestly, I can't think of a better place to earn a degree than at UNK in a community that is as supportive, the activities, the opportunities for career advancement, and then graduate studies. And now, of course, we're moving into a partnership with UNMC. You do not have to leave greater Nebraska to become a doctor, a pharmacist, a sonographer, all of those things. So really, some people ask me why come back, because all of those things, and education plays a key component in workforce development and economic development for the greater Nebraska. I'm so excited at the path we're on together.
Again, we're talking to Dr. Neal Schnoor, who's the new chancellor of UNK here on the KRVN Midday Show. You just mentioned, obviously, being close, working with former Chancellor Doug Christensen, and now taking over for him, who is obviously, he's been there for such a long time, lasting impact there in Kearney and UNK. What do you take from learning from him, being close to him, and now continuing what he's done, I guess, going from there?
Yeah. So, I mean, we were thrilled. I actually lived in Minden. My wife's first job, she's an elementary principal, started her career as a principal in Franklin. So we lived in Minden to split the drive 2 ways. And that's where I first met Doug and Terry and their wonderful kids. And they went to school together with our kids. So I've always known him as a friend. And then the opportunity to serve as senior advisor with him, we were able to work closely. It's really fun that some of the things we were working on, and they were just ideas at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't claim credit for it. My job was to help him get the job done and realize that vision. But to now come back and see it when you come on campus, it's simply unbelievable. Doug and I stay close. We talk often. He's outstanding. So the job now, I mean, it's an environment where there are fiscal challenges in the state that we're going to have to address. We need to move forward and make sure those initiatives get accomplished now for greater Nebraska. So it's been really fun visiting around the entire state in these 30 days. I've been listening and touring and talking to people, and they are so excited about UNK's position where we are as a university. And now we need to expand that impact. And I go back again to say, students do not leave. We are a premier undergraduate institution. We've said that for a long time. I assure you we are. We have high expectations for students, and then we support that to help them realize their vision. Our job now is to serve the state.
No, and as we're talking with newly named, not named, but I guess been for the job for a month now, Dr. Neal Schnoor, UNK's Chancellor. Talk a little bit about, obviously, you've got some history at your previous stops working with the rural medical side of things, and that's a big place that UNK's grown in. Talk a little bit about that and kind of the vision you see as you were part of just the planning, as you said, and now it's kind of coming to fruition and continuing to grow.
Sure, and while this was happening here, while I was at Northern, we had a small private institution in Aberdeen, South Dakota, which closed down, and they had a nursing program. And so, you know, what I tell people often is nursing doesn't make money. And so it was the easiest decision I've ever made and the hardest. The hardest because financially, you've got to make that model work. The easiest because it goes beyond just the institution. When I get back and I talk about economic development, to ensure we have vibrant communities in rural Nebraska, when you look at a 20-year period, 50-year period of the decline in population, the way to get that back is to ensure we have great teachers in the classroom, K-12, to make sure we have great health care, to make sure we have opportunities for people to have good jobs and income, support our clearly ag-based community. But that is the vibrancy. That's the kind of, when I talk economic development and the role we play in it, that's how I see that.
And you talked about, along with the UNFC aspect of things, but how about just campus in general, right? I mean, it has exploded, and in such a great way. You now have like a southern area of campus as well. So exciting times. You have a new roundabout going on that's being built there in Kearney. We were talking about that before we came on air, but the expansion of UNK has got to be encouraging and exciting for you.
It really is. I mean, when I left, there was one apartment building in the Plombeck Early Childhood Center on University Village, and now there's a innovation and regional engagement center. There's housing there. There's a tennis center. UNMC has oncology there. There's more coming. I can tell you that. And then on campus, we have two new buildings with the second health complex going up building, and we just refurbish through. You know, student housing is another area we need to invest in. We've got great housing, but we need to improve some upper class housing there. We need to do some work on Bruner Science. I mean, when we talk about being the pipeline, so we're putting a plan together, which leads into, it's pretty exciting. We're about 5 years into our campaign, our capital campaign with the system, and we hit our goal. And some people are like, great, we hit our goal, we're done. No. We have two stretch goals. We need to continue to raise scholarship money. And when I talk to students and parents, I hope they look. I've talked a lot about the quality so they understand, and always happy to call. They can call my office. I love to recruit students. I'm an old band director, right? But the other part of that is our affordability. And so when you can study at a premier institution at an affordable cost, you're setting yourself for a long career there of not having to pay off lots of student debt.
Yeah, talk about the affordability of trying to attract local people, out-of-state listeners. Obviously, KRVN goes a long ways, but we have a lot of people that obviously are wanting to stay in Nebraska. If they're thinking about UNK, why should they come?
Absolutely. I'm repeating myself, but you're going to get an outstanding education across the board. We've talked about healthcare, but every one of our departments, we have outstanding faculty and staff that are committed. I'm passionate about teacher education, why I mention that all the time. If you talk about healthcare being a pipeline to rejuvenating our communities, you won't have healthcare people. You won't have engineers. You won't, if we don't have quality K-12 schools. We currently have them, but the number of teachers, we need to have our efforts. So a quick shout out, if a little fun here, your superintendent happened to be a former band student of my wife when she was in Wisner. So it'd be good. We're going to stop by there, Todd, before we leave town. We got to see John Hawkinson before we leave. Yep. Dr. Hawkinson now. Mm-hmm. And then I have 3 former students that teach in the music department in Lexington. So we have Chad Scharf and Spencer Hansen and Brian Botsford. If you're listening, you should be in the classroom, guys, but we're going to come stop and see you soon.
And, of course, 2 former UNK students right here hosting the Midday Show as well.
Proud alums here. Good to see you both.
There we go. Well, hey, congratulations on everything, and welcome back to Nebraska. We look forward to working with you guys going forward.
Thank you very much for this opportunity and all you do.
Again, that is newly named Dr. Neal Schnoor, who is now named as Chancellor of the University of Nebraska-Kearney. It is currently 10:26, 68 degrees here at KRVN. Look at your cattle call numbers coming up here on the Rural Voice of Nebraska.